Northland sheep and beef farmers Marshall Walton and Angela Zaizalo are members of the First Light Wagyu Producers Group, finishing grass-fed Wagyu beef for domestic and export markets. They breed and buy in Wagyu Angus Cross and Wagyu Dairy Cross steers and heifers under a supply agreement to First Light Foods.
The farm's based on 6 blocks. The total's 513 hectares and effective is 490. We farm both ewes and breed and finish Wagyu cattle. 6 years ago, I was looking for something that was a prime product that had a sort of a market value chain focus. We were looking around for different things. There was a group of Northland farmers that were looking at different things, and we got an opportunity to go down and see some cattle down in the Hawke's Bay with First Light. And from then, I bought some, and then over the years, as we've expanded, we've put more and more on. Now we're exclusively either breeding or finishing Wagyu in our cattle business. The thing that probably attracts both Angela and I is the fact that it's a top-end product and we have a connection to the market. So the whole idea of the producer group is that we get as close to the market as we can. We've both been overseas to see the market, demoed product over there. We just like the fact that, we can see that whole process going through from what we do out the gate. There is also the premiums that you can get from doing that. The point of difference is it's a grass-fed product that competes at a very high level internationally. We can compete with the best of what comes out of the States. New Zealanders are really used to grass-fed because that's where most of our beef comes from, but overseas that's not necessarily the norm, especially in some of the high-end markets. Feedlot cattle fed on a corn-based diet is the norm, and that's where the high-end cuts come from, and we're producing that from a grass-fed system and using sort of Wagyu genetics to get that. The growth in this business has been fairly steady over the last 3 or 4 years. We're sort of establishing systems and getting used to farming the cattle, getting better quality cattle. Now we're starting to really ramp up. We've got some funding from the government through the Primary Growth Partnership. We're taking dairy cross cattle and making them into a prime product. So a byproduct of the dairy industry, especially from the Friesian Jersey cross the Kiwi cow, and making it into a top-end product that competes internationally. What we're doing as far as the dairy industry is we either use semen or bulls as tail-up bulls to cross over dairy herds. We either those dairy farmers rear those through to 90 to 100 kgs, or we take them at 4 days old and put them in the hands of rearers, and that is a source for us, for as finishers to take them on and finish them as prime beef cattle. We're on our home block here, and we've got a line of R2 cattle, so they're a mix of the dairy Wagyu cross and the Angus Jersey cross. They're part of a trial where we're looking at dam breeds out of the beef cows, so they're all out of my own cows, and they're a mix of Angus Jersey, Angus Friesian or pure Angus cows. The other half are dairy cross, so I run them as one line. The reason why we're running the trial is to see what's the best breeding cow. Some of our previous trial work shows that having a Jersey component somewhere in the mix improves marbling score. It also fits with my farming system because my breeding farm's a very wet farm, and having the small stature cow is more efficient for me. The Wagyu component of the stock does slow down growth rate, but as we get better at farming them, that is improving. Compared to the exotic breeds, we are down on that, but the more traditional breeds we're sort of matching. With Wagyu, it seems to be in the peak in spring and early summer, they do really well, and they're very comparable to any beef cattle. They seem to, when things get a little bit hard, they do slow down quite dramatically. So it's just trying to get that constant feed level through their lifetime to get that consistent growth. That's actually good for marbling and good for quality of the actual meat produced. Our toughest period for growth rates is autumn. With these cattle, I've been farming for quite a few years now, and autumn, can be a very challenging time. We're not quite sure whether that's actually purely feed quality, and we're doing some measurements looking at growth rates compared to feed quality. So, or it's some sort of fungal toxin that's actually they're very sensitive to. So we're not quite sure. So we actually, that's part of our research program, is to find out if, you know, what do we have to feed them to get them to grow consistently through their lifetime. The producer group model is, you know, it's quite novel in that the farmers actually own the product right through to market. So the producer group's half owned by a group of farmers. At present time there's 35, and the other half's owned by First Light Foods, which do the management of the value chain. We own all the stock, but they're actually under a supply agreement back to the First Light Producer Group. So we can't sell them outside the producer group without permission. We actually sort of own the product right through to market, so we're on a delay when we get paid because of that. We've got to wait until the actual market reimburses us. The benefits of the producer group is we've got a fixed schedule. It's brought out in March for the coming financial year, which is from April through to the end of March. That's fixed. We know exactly what the schedule will be on a particular kill. And that gives us security of cash flow, especially cash flow. It's a lot easier to manage cash flow when you actually know. And then it's back in our court to get the production, get the marbling score, get the weight gains. So that's a huge benefit. And knowing that at the end of the year, when there's a pool payment, that's based on how the whole of the group is done. So we can, if we've done really well as far as the group, as far as supplying on time, a quality product, then we're going to get a return for that.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.